welcome to the Blind Mike Stained Glass Studio. I'm your host, Blind Mike Kalo. Actually, it's not a studio, it's a 10 by 14 shed in my backyard, and it's summertime, so it's hot out here, so I'll do this as quickly as possible. But it's not going to be that quick, because there's a lot to get into. Anyway, today I'm going to show you how to use Creator's brand Ultra Beetle Bits glass cutting system. This is a godsend if you want to cut uniform, repeated pieces like strips, triangles, diamonds, octagons, whatever, if you're that creative. I'm not cutting octagons today. The components of the kit are 6 pieces of waffle grid, which have notches and pegs, or tabs, and slots. Yeah, slip tab A into slot B and all that. Okay, so you do slip tab A into slot B, press them together until you get a 2 grid by 3 grid mat on which you will be working. Okay, the components of the kit are a guide bar, a ruler, the fabulous Flying Beetle cutter head, a protractor, 2 adjustable bases for the guide bar, which will aid in cutting angled pieces like diamonds and triangles, 2 straight bases that will secure the guide bar for cutting strips, 2 little red doodads that go with the guide bar. For what purpose, I don't know. I don't use them, so I'll set them aside. 2 stopping blocks to use when cutting strips to make sure that your strips are square and equally spaced from the cutting head so that you get uniformly sized strips. 2 more stops. Again, I don't know what they're for. I don't use them, so I'll set them aside. Finally, 2 little round gizmos, one of which is an oil well, that go on either side of the ruler to hold it perpendicular to the guide bar while you're cutting. Okay, so we'll need them, and the protractor, and the Flying Beetle. We do not need them yet. We need them. We need them. We need them. We don't need the fire department right now, but just in case you hear them, they're not coming here. Alright, to set up the Flying Beetle and the Beetle Bits cutting system, we start by placing the protractor at the bottom of the grid mat. There is a base that has a stop notch in it for the bottom of the guide bar. It has pointers on it, and it has a hole in the center. Also, the bottom of this has a round peg which fits in the 1/2-inch grid mat. This mat base goes inside the protractor like such, with the bottom of the notch facing you. The second base, which is a through slot and also has a round bottom, but it has a stopper peg, goes at the opposite end of the grid mat. Line it up as best you can with your first base. Who's on first? I don't know. Anyway, then you take the guide bar with the peg, place the end with the peg at the bottom base, and place the top of the guide bar in the upper base. Okay, obvious. Now take the ruler, slide it under the guide bar, and slide it under the pointer base. Find the zero, oopsie, find the zero registration mark or calibration mark, whatever you want to call it. Line it up. Temporarily. Then place the flying beetle on the guide bar. The flying beetle has a yellow pointer that should point to your zero registration calibration mark or whatever number you pick on the ruler to be your 0 point. I'm going to use the 0 calibration point. Alright, put the flying beetle on, align the 0 mark with the yellow pointer, and tighten the knob to secure the ruler in place. Now, take those 2 round gizmos, place them at the opposite end of the ruler to hold it perpendicular to the guide bar. Next, you take your glass, place it under the guide bar, decide how wide of a strip you want to make. I'm going for a 1-inch strip, so I will line up the edge of the glass with the 1-inch mark on the ruler. That means there is exactly 1 inch between the cutter head on the flying beetle and the edge of my glass. So I will get a 1-inch wide strip of glass. Take stop blocks, loosen them, you adjust this portion of the stop block. So you place the stop block close to the edge of the glass, insert the back of the stop blocks have square pegs that go into the 1/2-inch square grids. So anyway, place the stop block in one of the cavities in the grid, push the edge of the stop block against the edge of your glass, and tighten the knob. Do the same thing with the upper or second stop block. Again, inserting the square peg on the back into the grid, abutting the stopper against your glass, and tightening it down. Yes, they are different, but that's because I use different holes in the grid. But they are both solid against the edge of the glass. Now, you take your flying beetle, drag it across the glass to score it, remove the glass from the cutter, excuse me, grab your running pliers, and please let this work. Run your glass. Ta-da! It worked. I have a 1-inch wide strip of glass. I can repeat that by simply inserting the glass against the stop blocks and running the flying beetle in the opposite direction for my glass, scoring it again, and running it again. I have two 1-inch strips of glass. See? That's how you cut equally sized strips of glass with the Creator's brand Ultra Beetle Bits glass cutting system. There's still a lot to say. Thanks for watching. See you next time.